is Diana. I don't know if this is on or off, but I want to read a message that Tiffany wrote, an email to you. Dear Diana, my delay in sending you this card is purely the result of having no words for you, your, or our loss. It simply stinks. Ron was a given in our lives, bigger than life, and sucked the air out of the room. But then he breathed it right back at us, giving such warmth and oxygen and enthusiasm that he made everything all that much more interesting and bright. I'm so grateful for the friendship you both share and gave my parents and our entire family, and want you to know that we will cling ever so tightly to you as a kindred spirit and family. Looking forward to giving you a big hug. And that's from Tiffany, Marlo, and Jim. We love you.
Well, hi, Ron. Well, goodbye, Ron. I guess I just want to say that you are definitely going to be missed, and I always enjoyed how you made everybody feel special and that they should always shine and show their true character. And the videos we made together are still my favorite. Okay.
Hi, my name is Gloria Nusi, and I am a forensic artist, and I reconstruct the faces of unidentified persons to identify them. And I'm also an anatomist. I teach anatomy at San Francisco State University. And I've been a natural history artist my whole career. And I think the first time I heard about the bone room, my husband bought me a horse skull for a birthday present. And then a fellow artist of mine told me about Ron and the bone room, and I came in here, and he's asked me to speak at Bone Room Presents, and what an incredible, lively person. And I felt so much kinship with him, although he would call me and tell me when he had a new group of eyes, and I would come in and buy the eyes that he had. I use them in my work, and I have a beautiful collection of eyes, prosthetic eyes that I use. And a few months ago, he sent me a surprise uterus. They appeared one day at my job. I get a call from the stockroom. You have a present. You have a box upstairs. A package arrived for you. So I went upstairs and got this little tiny box about this big, and it said the bone room. And Ron had given me a couple of other tiny gifts: an ear ossicle and the head of a femur of a New World monkey, and things that I absolutely treasure. And this is very special to me. And anyway, and I guess I would just like to say that I am so happy that I knew Ron. And Ron, I'm a little bit reclusive, and I never knew that until Ron pointed that out to me. I just knew that sometimes I couldn't get my whole life to fit on the plate that I wanted it to fit on. And then Ron pointed out, yes, you're reclusive, and I realized I am reclusive, and he said that it was okay. And I can't tell you how much his acknowledgement of me made me feel better about myself and about my work. And of course, I do work with all of the bones and everything that he sells here I use on a daily basis. And he told me about his father who donated his body, a Real Body program, and of course that's what I spend my days doing, is dissecting bodies and teaching students about the anatomy and about the wonderful world that I knew that Ron appreciated. And I guess I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you, Ron, for accepting me as I am and helping me to know myself, and for allowing me to get to know what an incredible person you are. And you always will be. And someday I hope we meet again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Ron. Uh-oh.
Ron.
Photo bomb, Ron. Perfect for you.
Lucky Richard Perry. Okay, we'll see you later.
Thanks.
What's
Karen
your
Kim.
name? Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh, excuse
Dewey
me.
Butcher. Okay, Karen. So long, Ron. We'll see you sometime. I don't know what's going on, but there must be something to it. Everybody's doing it, so we'll see you someday. Take care.
That was very sweet. Hi, I'm Karen Kim. Ron, you and I met through Diana. I met Diana. I was lucky enough to find Diana at the Tucson Fossil Show. And you and Diana both figured out what my passions are. And it's easy to figure out what your passion was. Pretty much everything. You and I had so much in common and so little in common at the same time. Our politics were about here and there. And yet we could talk for hours about just about anything. I appreciate you. I loved your love of Amber, and I feel like one of the insects that you so treasured in your Amber, because there I am crawling along in my life, and all of a sudden the bone room starts to seep into my life a little bit. And Evan's life, and Grayson's life, and Justin's life seep in a little bit, and it surrounds you, and the next thing you know, you're looking about it and thinking about it all the time. And truly, before you know it, you're entrapped in that wonderful goo of Ron and Diana and the bone room and all you represent and all of the passions that you have. The fossils, the reptiles, the skulls, the amber, the feathers, the horns. They're really all part of our life. And I'm going to miss you a great deal. I'm happy that Diana is going to keep your legacy alive, and Diana has a legacy of her own. So on behalf of all of the Kents who are trapped in Amber, we thank you.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'm a current employee of the Bone Room. I have been working here for about 4 years, and when I first met Ron, I was fresh, turned 18 years old. I had just graduated high school, and I had no idea what I was doing with my life. I was not going to school, and when I met Ron, he was probably one of the only older figures that I knew who said, you know, that's okay, you don't have to go to school. And from then on, I started volunteering and then turned into an employee, and it really has just changed my entire life. From then on, I fell in love with so many things here. I fell in love with natural history, and it's opened my world to so many more possibilities, and I would not have been able to do that without knowing Ron. He was someone who was genuinely interested in my life, my personal life. At times he was a bit nosy, but it was all coming from a deep respect, and I really appreciated that. He always told me to be more open with him and tell him more things, and I'm really glad that he pushed me in that way, and I really have been able to become more confident in myself and open up and learn so many things that I would have never even known about if it wasn't for him. And so I really thank him. Every moment I got to spend with him was really incredible.
Hey, Ron, Carol Davidova, nay Finkel, who you've known so many years and who has loved you long and well. Thanks for all the great shared adventures, roguery, meals, drinks, revelry. What you've given to my son, what you've given to me. There's no one like you. Thanks,
An elegy for Ron Cauble. That notorious philosopher Ayn Rand is the reason why I first met Ron Cauble. The time was that fabled land called the 60s. I'd come from out of nowhere, which is to say, a logging town in western Washington called Shelton, with the nominal purpose of studying English literature at the University of Washington. Had I been more self-aware, I would have known that my true purpose was not to sign up and take classes, but to seek out others like myself who had been inspired by The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. They would know what it was like to feel your mind on fire with pressing questions about life, and then have Ayn Rand come along and pour gasoline on that fire. I found them all right, a student organization called the Objectivist Club, and their unacknowledged leader, Ron Cauble, by virtue of his presence. They seemed to be older students, confident, inquisitive, challenging, a more disputatious bunch of individualists you're not likely to find. They seemed tall, but none taller than Ron, even when he was sitting down. He had the ability to sweep you up into the gathering with a jovial sense of humor, accompanied by a gleam in his eyes. Those times were serious and fun and amusing. No subject was off the table, no subject was immune to rational investigation. You could join the fray, but you had to be bold. If, when pressed, all you could offer was, "It's just my opinion," you'd fast go down in flames. How much of this scene I was aware of at the time, I don't really know. I did know I was having the time of my life, and the end of that glorious time seemed to come when Ron moved away. Richard Evers, September 21st, 2014, Berkeley, California.
Hello. I'm not sure who my audience is. If anyone's watching this and doesn't know who I am, I'm Ron's cousin. I grew up in Georgia, and my mom is Ron's first cousin. When I moved to California, she said that I needed to look up this crazy bone man and go meet him. She hadn't spoken to him in a very long time, but thought that we would be good friends. So I came out to California, and much like the Southern mentality, rolled right up to the Bone Room, which was closed. And I looked Ron up in the phone book. This is 2001, and gave him a call and asked him to lunch that day. And he thanked me for my interest, but politely told me he was having a great day at home and was unavailable, and that I could make an appointment later, next week, by email. So I went on my way, and once I unruffled my feathers, made an appointment, and Ron and I went to dinner, and there began a decade-plus long relationship of friendship and debating and storytelling and generally talking about how great we both were. I really miss him already. Very thankful for the time that I had and for the relationship, and Ron was definitely a father figure to me, and I'm positive I'm not alone in that. He had the biggest family of anyone I knew. So, Ron, who loves you? Thanks.
Okay, so I just wanted to say. Okay, let me start. I just wanted to say thank you, Ron, for the amazing opportunity you've given me at the Bone Room, and the opportunity to get to know you. It changed my life, and it was just one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. And just thank you for everything, and I'll miss you a lot. Yeah, thanks.
Hey Ron, it still hasn't hit me yet that you're gone, and I think you'll never be gone, because the bone room was so much a part of you, and you were so much a part of the bone room, that no matter how long you were gone or now that you're not here, your legacy will always live on in something that is so beautiful, and it's you. It still continues to teach people every single day about what you loved and what you wanted your life to be. But I always remember that whenever we would talk, you would always end the conversation with the same words, and it would always be a question, and it would always be, who loves you? And I never really took that as a question, and you always kind of explained to me that it was a question because you didn't want people to feel obligated to love you back. But I always thought of it as not a question but a statement, because I think everyone that knew you and met you knew that you loved them, and I think that's such a beautiful thing for a person to be able to convey that so easily to others. So, and I know, I don't know, it's amazing that you're gone, and it's hard to believe still, but the opportunities that you've given me, and I know every single other person has even met you for a moment, it'll change my life forever. And the people I've met and the family that you created here is something that people don't find, and you've created it for so many people, and you've spread your love with so many people. So I guess I'll end this just by thanking you and how great of a person you are. Bye.
Okay, so I've had to test this enough times that I should feel comfortable in front of the camera, but I'm not. Especially when it comes to talking about Ron. It's kind of strange because I'd only been working here for just a couple of months before he left us, but in those couple months I felt a very profound closeness to someone who was like a mentor to me and also a family member. And I don't know, I guess that was kind of inspiring that you can find family anywhere. I had just moved up, I didn't know a single soul up here, and Ron gave me a good family, the Bone Room family, and I'm eternally grateful to him for that, for opening this place. It's nice to have a place where you don't feel like a weirdo, or strange or bizarre for liking the strange and bizarre. To see someone who was 74 and so established and accomplished, it's inspiring and almost makes me reconsider everything that I'm doing with my life right now, and maybe just pursue something that I find is a passion, instead of something that's just going to make me money. Ron showed me that you can kind of do the two together. So I kind of still use that as inspiration for myself, and it's very hard to believe that he's not here anymore, that he's gone. I still walk into work and always stop into the present side first to see if he's in there, and it's still sometimes just an automatic function. You get glimpses of him. You hear his voice, and someone kind of sounds a lot like him, has the same boisterous laugh, or knows just the right way to correct someone. I just really miss him. I wish that I had had more time to get to know him better. Luckily, this service has helped me see a different side of Ron over the past few decades. Hear all these stories. I don't know. It makes me feel like I got to know him a little bit more, even though I physically can't. Best boss I ever had, hands down. Probably the best boss I ever will have until I finally can become my own boss. Yeah, he's deeply missed. All right, that's that.
Hi, I'm Beverly from Free Alliance, and I know Diane since she was 17, and when she first met Ron, I didn't care for him because at that time she also just met my brother-in-law, and I thought she was more for my brother-in-law. But anyway, I was wrong. Apparently, Ron and Diana are soulmates, so I'm happy that they were able to spend those years together. My son, I brought to the Bone Room every year, and he had become a doctorate candidate at OSU in entomology. So Ron and Diana has been an influence in his life, obviously. So thank you both, Ron and Diana.
Well, hello everybody. I don't know whose this is going to be, Diana. Anyway, Paul Leondis, a friend of Ron's for many years. I met him when the store was still down in Oakland. I had met him, the first time was I had found a snake in Mexico on a collecting trip once, and it started laying eggs, and I called up his number. He was in the phone book, and I asked him if he wanted the animal, and, that was how we got started. Anyway, I thought I'd tell an anecdote about Ron. Ron was a big man, and I can remember sometime when he was having trouble with, I think he was having trouble with the government. One of those times he got in trouble, and he was having financial troubles. And he would, I talked to him, and he spent a lot of time telling me, how broke he was, and what was going on. And then he says to me, "So let's go out to dinner." And I said, "Ron, you just told me you're broke." He says, this was typical Ron. He says, "I may be short $30,000, but I'm never short the money to go to dinner." Anyway, just kind of for fun, I found this thing that I remembered thinking about him. Ron and I shared an interest in science fiction. He was a big science fiction fan, and I can't remember whether he specifically liked Roger Zelazny or not. But I remembered this selection from a Zelazny book. This is from Creatures of Light and Darkness by Zelazny. And I thought I would give this as a last offering to Ron. It's called the Possibly Proper Death Litany. It goes like this. Insofar as I may be heard by anything which may or may not care what I say, I ask, if it matters, that you be forgiven for anything you may have done or failed to do which requires forgiveness. Conversely, if not forgiveness, but something else may be required to ensure any possible benefit for which you may be eligible after the destruction of your body, I ask that this, whatever it may be granted or withheld, as the case may be, in such a manner as to ensure your receiving said benefit. I ask this in my capacity as your unelected intermediary between yourself and that which may not be yourself, but which may have an interest in the matter of your receiving as much as it is possible for you to receive of this thing, and which in some way may be influenced by this ceremony. Amen. Rest in peace, Ron.